I'm willing to push you to do the methods that actually work. Steroids, pharmacology, extreme protocols.
If this was only for adults, well, you're an adult. You do what you want. But this is directly targeting kids. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going to be exposing Clavicular's clan. And so what we have is Clavicular, a man who has many admirers, many followers, people who are hopeless, who feel like the world has nothing to offer, who believe that if they listen to Clavicular, that they'll one day perhaps be 6'2" and extremely good looking and be able to get girls. What you perhaps don't know is that Clavicular's clan is a group of people who are paying him $50 a month to get advices from him. He has 1,100 members, and so if you do some quick math, he's making over $50,000 a month selling these programs. On the one end, he's an adult and he can sell whatever he wants. The problem is, 46% of the people who are buying those plans are between the ages of 14 and 17. And so about half of his audience are literally kids. They're children. Wait till you see what he's going to be educating those children on taking. And let me tell you, this is the same man that thinks that I'm scamming people by selling Turk Builder Max.
He asked, where did you get this information? And I was praying he wouldn't have said from Coach Greg. And thankfully he's...
Yeah, maybe because you're a snake oil salesman.
Let me get it straight. It's not okay for me to sell supplements, but it's okay for him to sell programs teaching people about how to smash their faces in, to poke needles around their eyes, to take steroids at the age of 14, and that he can teach them all to do this safely because, well, he's not a normie. He's a neurodivergent, and so of course he knows and understands everything. And so Clavicular's clan, private, 1,100 members, $49 a month. By school backup. What you're getting access to, 100+ advanced courses covering looksmmaxxing, nootropics, pharmacology, aesthetics and social dominance, and more. Wow. In particular, I'd love to see how a 19-year-old is an expert on pharmacology. Does this bro thinks that he watches a few Derek videos and he's now an expert? Weekly Zoom calls for live calibration and strategy refinement. Direct message access to me and equally dedicated members. No more wasting time in normie spaces. And so 1,100 people are going to be directly messaging him, asking questions. Now, I once coached 64 people at the same time, and I was working about 14 hours a day. He's coaching 1,100 people on how to look smack. Does anyone think that he's actually answering all of those messages? So let's see what he offers.
If you're tired of being invisible to women, tired of getting rejected, and tired of watching other guys who won the genetic lottery take what's yours, then pay attention.
And so there's the hook. You're 14 years of age, and you're perhaps not even gone through puberty, and you're thinking, this guy's tall, he's attractive. He's telling me if I'm tired of not being chosen by women, that I should listen to his course. And after all, he has an incredible before and after transformation. It looks like, wow, what has he done? Well, he grew his hair out and he doesn't have acne anymore because he's on Accutane, which is dangerous, harmful for the liver, but that's just one of his things.
Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You have been lied to. They told you just be confident, just be yourself, looks don't matter. But you and I both know that's complete bullshit.
And so you get in front of a camera and you speak to young, impressionable teenagers that probably have low self-worth, low self-esteem, low confidence, and you sell them a program that says, if you listen to me and you take and abuse drugs, oh, and I'll teach you how to do it safely. Even though you're 14, I'll get you the spaces to get your nootropics, your steroids, your peptides, perhaps your snow, you're sniffing creatine, perhaps you're doing meth, Adderall, you name it, all in the name of getting good looks. Because if you aren't a good-looking person, if you're not a Chad, you're useless. What do you think you are, you little normie? You need to hire me and buy my freaking program, or else you won't be successful in life. People who don't think that they can do anything, that they can't be successful because of the lack of appearance, the lack of looks, it's called people who are black-pilled. And so he's going to sell you a dream to young and impressionable teenagers. Now, if this was only for adults, well, you're an adult. You do what you want. But this is directly targeting kids.
And if you don't fix it now, you're gonna wake up 5 years from now in the exact same position or worse. Still invisible, still alone, still wondering where your life could have been if you had decided to take action.
I'm imagining as a parent, if I had a 14-year-old listening to this message, I would be very concerned. He consistently is telling people, if you're not a Chad, that you're invisible. No one can see you, that you're a loser, and that there's no hope for you unless you buy my course. He's preying on the insecurities of children. Perhaps because he's 19, you're thinking, oh, it's not really a big deal. How would you feel to know that your 14-year-old is listening to a grown-ass adult? 19, I don't care. You're an adult. If you're old enough to vote and you can go to prison for doing things that are bad, you're an adult. And so he is preying on children, on minors. Now remember, this is the same person that was injecting some kind of fat dissolvent on a 17-year-old girl. Where are his credentials? How is he telling children how to use and abuse performance-enhancing drugs and pretending that he knows how to do it safely?
Maybe you've tried to fix this already. You've hit the gym, you've tried skincare routines, and you've watched 1,000 videos on mewing. But here's the problem. That stuff doesn't work fast enough, and most of it doesn't work at all.
Maybe you watched Coach Greg, who said, go to the gym, lift weights, put the fork down, do some cardio. But hey, wake the Turk up. That's not fast enough, and that's probably not going to work anyway. You need surgeries. Have you not looked in the mirror? Your face is recessed. Your occipital folds and some other bullshit terms, they're not good enough. Your eyes are too close together, too far apart. You don't have hunter eyes. And what's with your teeth? Do you think a woman could ever even look at you?
Oh my God!
You need to take drastic measures. For example, I'm 6'2". What hope do I have? I need to get limb lengthening surgery so that I can be an Adonis. I want to be the first person that anyone sees when I enter that bar. This guy is getting titanium implants on his face because he's so insecure and suffers from body dysmorphia. If you're a kid and you follow this man and you buy this course or you go on his Reddit forums and you read a bunch of other people who are going to be in an echo chamber screaming the exact same thing, you're going to continue to feel worthless, only worse. You really think that you can buy his course and start punching your occipital bones and putting makeup to cover it up, putting eyeliner, covering up your blemishes, and that somehow now you're going to be cool? Just because you transform, just because you look better on the outside, doesn't mean you're going to feel better on the inside. All that's going to do is make you even more aware of your insecurities, and you're going to be in a downward spiral. This is the worst influencer on YouTube, the one man you need to avoid.
And I've spent years mastering the science of male aesthetics.
He's 19. What do you mean years?
I'm talking about completely restructuring your facial aesthetics using pharmacology, extreme methods, and protocols people are too scared to even ask about.
I mean, you would think that this guy was perhaps a surgeon, had years of training. For example, Mepsigram, she went to school for 11 years to be an eye surgeon. I was asking her, is there any dangers to, for example, poking near your eye to try to get hunter's eyes? And so she described orbital cellulitis. This is extremely dangerous. And not only that, what if you simply poke the eye by accident and perforate your cornea? Do you know how dangerous this is? And so even when people are getting Botox and so on, they are very careful whenever there's a sharp object near your eye. Imagine being a scared teenager, 15 years of age, and you suddenly start poking your eye in order to get swelling to look like you have under eyes. Or beating your face in, punching it, using a hammer. These are very dangerous things. And you really want a teenager, that's right, he's only 19, explaining to other younger teenagers on how to do this.
I've taken on guys who are skinny, low dimorphism, and completely overlooked by women, and turned them into jacked, high-value men who command respect the second they walk into a room.
He calls me out for being a snake oil salesman, saying, oh, turkesterone, it's snake oil. He has no idea of anything about it. He doesn't know that we've proven its authenticity and that we don't sell snake oil. But yet he tells kids, they're 14, 15, impressionable. He says, I've taken skinny loser kids who are ugly and made them into muscular, jacked, high market value men.
I'm not afraid to go where others won't. While every other looksmmaxxing coach is telling you to drink more water and do facial exercises, I'm willing to push you to do the methods that actually work.
Is it really good for children, remember, underage children, to listen to an adult on how to do things that are illegal to improve their appearance? Illegal, as in breaking the law. Last I checked, steroids in the United States, they're not legal. And so is teaching kids how to get and use steroids, keeping it a secret from their parents, really something that we think should be allowed on the internet?
Steroids, pharmacology, extreme protocols.
I'm just looking at his account here, and it's saying ages 14 to 15, and it says minor, and it says 518 people in common. The next age demographic says 16 to 17, and then it goes to 18 plus. And so imagine selling a program that involves drugs and having any inclusion of people under 18. It's bad enough that people are doing this who are over the age of 18. Everyone, and I do mean every single person in the world, has something that they don't like about their bodies. Maybe it's their height, their hair color, their skin color, their teeth, the size of their nose. But do you really want to then focus on that problem and give it even more attention and say, you know what, you're not good enough because of that? If you look at your body long enough, eventually you're going to find something you don't like. And is it then okay to sell people courses on how to change that using illegal drugs? That's Clavicular's clan. Don't you wish you were part of it?
They didn't know how to mitigate side effects. They didn't know what compounds to stack, the timing, the dosages, what blood work do I need to get? That's where I come in.
How does he know if he's doing things safely? How can you trust him? How can he possibly tailor everything to their genetics? He has gene testing as part of his $50 a month plan. How can he know that? He literally told me if I could go back in time that I should have used steroids at 14 so that I could grow taller. I had finished growing when I was 13. And so how is he going to know your genetics? You're going to send him a photo and say, I'm 5'6" manlet like Coach Greg, I want to be taller. And he's going to say, make sure you use some masterone, some testosterone, and be sure to add in some estrogen blockers. Is that what he's going to do? This makes no sense.
No guessing what to do next, no trial and error, no wasted time. I've already done this for dozens of men.
Not thousands, dozens. And how do we know that things have always gone according to plan? Do you really think he's going to show the poor transformations? People whose eyelids have perhaps gotten overly swollen have been taken to hospital? Or people who use steroids and now have gynecomastia or are losing their hair or have horrendous acne? What about all those people?
One client came to me super skinny, and within months, I completely transformed his facial structure, got him jacked, and got him high dimorphism.
Is that really a skill, a talent? You convinced a kid to use steroids, and he put on a lot of muscle.
Just imagine waking up 3 months from now and looking in the mirror. And instead of seeing the same average looking face looking back at you, you see a completely different person. Strong mandible, defined cheekbones.
You're not going to look like Jeff Seid because you bought his program for 3 months.
You finally experience what it's like to live life on easy mode. No more rejection, no more being invisible.
You really think that just because you're extremely good looking that no one could possibly reject you? What, if you're famous, tall, and good looking, every single human on the earth is going to want to be with you? It doesn't work like that. Sure, having an attractive face, being tall, can get people in the door. They'll be more likely to want to talk to you, but they can still reject you. Imagine you meet this guy, he's 6'2" and he's good looking. You're thinking, yeah, I'd like to be with a guy that looks like that. And then when you wake up in the morning and he's next to you in the sink and he's grabbing your mascara and he's doing his eyeliner and he's punching his face to get some swelling and then covering it up with makeup. And he looks over at you and says, you know, your faces are a little recessed. Can we not get a nose job soon? I require some blastoplasty. Once you start on that path of thinking you're not good enough, that you need to take steroids, that you need to have surgeries, that the world is simply not going to treat you nice because, well, you're not tall enough, you're not strong enough, you're not big enough. it's never going to end well. You'll be on the hedonic treadmill for life, thinking you're never good enough.
If you're ready to experience what attractive men experience every day, and you're ready to do whatever it takes no matter how extreme, then click the link below and let's talk.
When you take a 14, 15, 16-year-old, you prey on their insecurities, tell them they're not good looking enough, that they need to hire him, to pay him, and do whatever it takes, and do anything, no matter how extreme, no matter what drugs he says to take, no matter what surgeries, you just gotta do it and shut up. I think that this is grooming. You're young and underage, and you're trying to convince them. Actually, it's worse than grooming. He's not waiting to teach them until they're older. He wants to tell them how to take those drugs right now. And so there you have it, the world's worst YouTube influencer preying on the insecurities of vulnerable teenagers. Of course, you can buy a cookbook and eat healthy and try to change your life that way. You can get GO2 Max to improve your cardio. And of course, we've talked about Turk Builder Max. Code Greg, 15% off. Now, if you do want to get actual advice from actual doctors, you can go to AlgoRx, who can get your blood work done. And those real doctors, they can prescribe you real medications, not underground shit, not things that are illegal, but things like enclomiphene, terzipatide, Ozempic, or perhaps you need HRT. And so if you're interested in that, code Greg, 10% off. Click the link in the description, subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch any of those two bloops. If you want to be a sponsored or athlete ambassador, click the link in the description as well. If you want to sell HDLT supplements at your store and or gym, click the link. And until next time, I am out.